Exactly.
And today we're diving into one specific group from this quest, Group 161.
And the random draw for this one is, well, it's something else.
It really is. You've got Metallica's The Black Album, massive.
Then Lady Gaga's Born This Way, huge pop record.
Then from a completely different era, the very best of Vera, Lynn.
And rounding it out, Peter Gabriel's collection, Shaking the Tree.
I mean, talk about contrasting styles and eras. You couldn't pick 4 more different records if you tried.
Which makes the ranking incredibly difficult, right? How do you even compare them? Our mission here is to unpack Greenstocks' thinking, figure out the logic behind their final rankings for this group, and see who actually made it through.
Okay, so let's get straight to it. The source material didn't mince words about the winner. Top spot for Group 161 went to Lady Gaga, Born This Way.
Yeah, unequivocally. The description used was frickin' brilliant.
Frickin' brilliant. Okay, so what pushed it so far ahead of, Metallica and Peter Gabriel?
Well, the core of the critique was that it's pure Gaga. It wasn't just about hit songs. It was the wild imagination and tight arrangements throughout the whole album.
And there was something about its energy compared to her previous work.
Right. Greenstocks felt it was more relentless than the Fame. It just keeps coming at you, track after track, with this really complex energy, not just simple pop.
That complexity idea is interesting for dance pop. The source mentions something about, structural tricks in the song.
Exactly. Deception, almost. Songs starting one way and then just flipping, like Marry the Night.
How so?
It opens kind of like straightforward, radio-friendly pop, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then, bam, this heavy thumping dance bass kicks in. It completely shifts gears.
Ah, okay, sets the tone.
And the title track does something similar. It sort of pretends to be pure pop, then pivots hard into a big dance anthem. It's clever stuff.
And that relentless feel also comes from mixing up the styles, blending different decades.
Totally. You've got tracks like Government Hooker or Heavy Metal Lover that sound really contemporary, very 21st century.
But then right alongside them,
massive nods to the 80s. The source specifically mentioned the Madonna vibe on tracks like Bad Kids and You and I.
You could mistake them for actual 80s tracks.
Pretty much. But then, just to mix it up even more, you get something like Scheisse.
And that was compared to?
Ace of Base. That specific 90s Europop sound. Clean synths, catchy, maybe a little melancholic.
Right, I can hear that. So it's 80s tributes, 90s Europop, and modern electro all on one album.
Which is what Greenstocks called genuine bravery. Even within songs, like Hair, it's mostly 80s pop versus chorus structure, but then it breaks into these sampled dance sections. It's quite a ride.
Now, there was a more controversial comparison made in the source, too, about Michael Jackson.
Ah, yes. 2 points there. Musically, the style mixing reminded the author of Jackson's own genre-bending mastery.
Okay, that makes sense. But the other part?
The other part was about the public persona. The source mentioned Gaga having a whiff of wacko in her public appearances and noted the fanatical adulation from her fans.
Right. Using a term like wacko jocko, I mean, that feels less like music criticism and more like a comment on celebrity culture, doesn't it? Is that really relevant to the album quest?
It's a fair point. It definitely highlights the subjective nature of the review. It's less about the music itself in that comment and more an observation about the sheer scale of her fame and the spectacle surrounding her. It suggests that the persona is almost inseparable from the art for an artist like Gaga. You can't really ignore it when listening.
Okay. But even with all this praise, freaking brilliant and everything, there was a negative point, a significant one apparently, about bonus tracks.
Oh yes, the mini rant, as the source called it.
Yeah.
This is crucial for understanding the album quest rules, really.
What was the issue?
It was a specific remix of the title track, Born This Way, by Jost and Knopf. Greenstocks found it completely pointless.
Pointless how? Just didn't like it.
Worse than that, it ruined the album's flow. The reviewer even coined the term "nath" for the remix. Like, it became a synonym for a track that just messes up the cohesion of an album.
Wow. Okay, so album flow is paramount in this quest.
Absolutely. Adding extra stuff, especially remixes that weren't part of the original artistic vision, is seen as a major violation. It breaks the journey. So even the winning album had this mark against it because of an external addition.
Fascinating. So the winner almost tripped up on the final hurdle because of a remix. Let's move to number 2 then. Peter Gabriel's greatest hits, Shaking the Tree. It advanced, but the critique sounds conflicted.
Very conflicted. It's almost the mirror image of the Gaga situation. Here, the material is obviously incredible. Peter Gabriel, and come on. But the structure of the compilation itself was the problem. The main issue, according to Greenstocks, was that Listening to Shaking the Tree just constantly made them want to listen to Gabriel's masterpiece album, So.
Because so many tracks were from So.
Exactly. Nearly a third of the compilation is from So. And because the reviewer knew, So Inside Out, the way those tracks were reordered on Shaking the Tree felt wrong. Muddled was the word used.
So it wrecked the pacing.
Completely. It highlights that same critical point about flow and intended sequence. A greatest hits album inherently disrupts an original album's flow.
But it still came in second, ahead of Metallica and Vera Lynn.
Yeah, which tells you just how strong that core material is. Even with the muddled sequencing penalty, tracks like Sledgehammer, the Kate Bush duet, Don't Give Up, Salisbury Hill, they're just undeniable classics. The quality was enough to edge out the others, despite the structural issues.
Okay, so Gaga wins despite an external flow problem. Gabriel advances despite an internal flow problem. That's a really interesting comparison. Right, let's talk about who didn't make it. Third place. Metallica, the Black Album, huge album. Why didn't it advance?
Well, the review acknowledged the classic Metallica sound, the pummeling drums and gruff throaty vocals, that whole balls-out metal power.
Well, yeah, it's iconic.
But the paradox, Greenstrokes pointed out, is that this super heavy album is also the one where they bust out a level little ballad.
Nothing else matters.
Precisely. And while there was praise for the musicianship, Kirk Hammett's guitar playing, calling his solos sometimes progressive metal, the cool riff in Enter Sandman, the groove in My Friend of Misery, the final verdict, was kind of shocking.
Which was?
That Nothing Else Matters was the best song on the album.
Wow. Okay. For a Metallica album, that's a statement.
It led to this really provocative question. Did Metallica miss their calling as an AOR band?
Adult-oriented rock. You mean like Journey or Foreigner? Suggesting Metallica should have sounded like that.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. The implication was that their attempt at melody and softness on Nothing Else Matters was so successful, so much better than the heavy stuff on the same record, that maybe that should have been their main direction.
So the overall take was lukewarm.
Pretty much summed up as decent, but nothing truly great. And in this kind of competition, decent just doesn't cut it. You're out.
Harsh, but consistent with the focus on outstanding albums. Okay, that brings us to fourth place. The historical outlier, Vera Lynn's Very Best Of.
Yeah, stepping into a time machine here. We're talking an artist whose peak was, what, 50 years before the Black Album?
Easily. Pre-rock and roll even.
Yeah.
The source calls her the motivational troops sweetheart from World War II.
And the sound reflects that entirely. Very quaint English is how it was described. Full of references to Bedfordshire, Big Ben, the White Cliffs of Dover. It really roots you in that specific time and place.
But nostalgia and historical importance don't always equal a great listening experience today, right? Especially with older recordings. That was a major issue. The recordings themselves were called fairly below par and a bit scratchy, understandable given the age, but in a direct comparison based on sound and enjoyment.
It struggles against modern production.
And then there was the issue of the songs sounding too similar.
Lack of variety.
Yeah. Greenstrokes mentioned tracks like Dream, Faraway Places, Harbor Lights, all kind of blending together. Same sort of feel, same arrangements.
Even though it has some incredibly famous songs on it, we'll meet again.
Absolutely. And I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles, the football anthem. Huge cultural touchstones. But as an album experience, competing against the dynamism of Gaga, the classic rock power of Gabriel, even the calculated aggression of Metallica, it just couldn't hold up in this ranking system.
And the final verdict was summarized with a quote.
A slightly cheeky Pink Floyd reference. Vera, what has become of you? Sort of acknowledging the history, but admitting it doesn't compete in this specific quest.
Okay, so let's lock in those final rankings for Group 161. Number 1, advancing, Lady Gaga's Born This Way.
Number 2, also advancing, Peter Gabriel's Shaking the Tree.
Number 3, eliminated, Metallica's The Black Album.
And number 4, eliminated, Vera Lynn's Very Best Of.
So the big takeaway seems to be about how much personal context and, crucially, album structure matters in this quest.
Exactly. It's not just about which songs are best. It's about how the album works as an album. Gaga won, despite the bonus track issue, because the core album flow was strong. Gabriel advanced, but got penalized because the compilation's structure actively undermined the memory of So. Metallica was seen as having maybe one truly great song type, but not a great album. And Vera Lynn suffered from both sonic age and internal repetition.
It really shows how subjective best is and how much depends on what criteria you prioritize. That contrast between Gaga's modern mix and Gabriel's compilation being hurt because of its source material is striking.
It really is. The Gabriel critique, being penalized for a muddled track order compared to the perfection of So, that really sticks with you.